What's the prevailing view of like war, foreign policy?
Oh gosh, we hate war. We really despise it. George Bush was probably the worst president in modern America by far. When you look at the amount of debt, like when we talked about the 38.2 trillion, I mean, think about how much of that was Iraq, Afghanistan, all of that.
Yes.
And we don't have anything to show for it, really. I mean, Iraq is now basically a satellite state of Iran. You know, there was a deterrent to one of America's enemies, and now it's just a puppet state. And you have Afghanistan, which, you know, understand attacking Al-Qaeda. You know, they attacked us, sure.
Yes.
But the idea that you want to turn a Stone Age society to a progressive liberal democracy is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard.
Ever, yeah.
And so we can't rationalize why that ever happened. And even people in your generation, they're like, what were we thinking? Why did we do that? Like, I've spoken to so many people who are conservative, and they're like, I don't understand why we ever did that. And the war is just not something we like. I don't think anyone likes it. And the real tragedy of war was not the debt, it's actually just the innocent American lives that were lost.
Yes.
That's the real tragedy.
I agree.
And all the other stuff is secondary, but it still has lasting effects on us.
So when you hear people agitating for like another regime change war in whatever country, what do you think?
I'm angry and I'm frustrated as someone who's the son of, you know, my dad's in the military.
Yes.
That makes me angry
Yes.
because I don't want him to go and fight in a war that will just be another waste of money and a failure. So there's a personal element to it, but also it's just stupid. You know, how many times are we going to do this before we learn it doesn't work,
Yes.
right? So there's so many elements to it. Personal, financial makes no sense, and it's just logistically absolutely stupid.
It is stupid.
And it makes me angry that people were even advocating for something like that. And I don't think they're advocating it just to advocate for it. I think there's interest groups that are pushing them to advocate for that.
Clearly there are. We've
yeah.
learned a lot about that recently. So that's one of the topics that nobody ever, including me, I had zero desire to talk about it, the Israel question. And Fuentes is most famous for, there's no upside in that.
Yeah.
And I just...
The question no one wants to ask.
I never felt it was as central as it turned out to be. I guess I just didn't understand it very well. But Fuentes is famous for, you know, saying naughty things, but also saying like, you know, pretty straightforward critique of the control that Israel has over the United States. Is that view widely shared, do you think?
Well, I don't know too much. I mean,
let's take Fuentes out of it.
Yeah.
I keep reading that young people's views of Israel are increasingly skeptical, if not hostile. Do you think that's true?
Absolutely, yeah. And I don't think it's anything we've done. I think it's all reliant on Israel. That's on them, actually, not on us. And the reality is they're just another country. I've never bought into like they're super evil, you know, like they're just another country. Who cares?
Right.
And if they want a better relationship with the United States, they need to stop interfering in our politics. It's really simple.
Yes.
And it's not just Israel. I mean, we need to ban foreign aid. We need to stop sending. We should not have a single dime going to another country when we have people in poverty, with bad schools, medical debt, all that stuff. It makes no sense. That's part of America first. We also should ban foreign lobbying. It's irresponsible. Why would we have the interest of another country put as policy for our country?
Yes.
Our leaders should be making decisions on the interest of American people, not someone in Burundi or something. Who cares?
Well, exactly.
Right? So those are two things that I think if we cut out the aid, cut out the lobbying, I think it'll stop a lot of influence, not just from Israel, but from every country.
Exactly.
Because it's not just Israel. It is a lot of other countries that do that. And it's just as much a problem.
And just as egregious a violation of the most basic principle of government, which is serve your people first.
Absolutely. Yep.
Do you feel people are less afraid to say that now?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I just remember, like, growing up when I was in that 2016 era of conservative politics, Israel was untouchable. Like, you could not say anything about it.
No, I remember.
And in some ways, it's, like, still kind of that way. But it's, like, it's just weird. It's weird, the obsession, you know? Whether I'm not one to like the obsession, whether it's good or bad. It's just weird that people are obsessed with it the way it is. And I just don't agree with either one.
I agree.
You know,
I completely agree.
waste of time.
It's
just another
unhealthy
country.
too.
Yeah, it really is.
Wake up thinking about Israel every day. It's not good in either direction.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's focus on America. How about that?
Amen. So, what are your views on immigration, and what views do you think best describe the people you know?
So, 2016, Trump brought a spotlight on illegal immigration, and that was really desperately needed because we had seen it, but no one really said the obvious. Now we need to do the same with legal immigration. We need to state the obvious. Mass migration is a problem.
Yes.
And it's funny, when I've started speaking out against that, the amount of legal immigrants in this country, the amount of children of immigrants in this country who have come up to me and say, thank you for speaking about that, is shocking in some ways, but it's also not shocking because
It's not shocking.
It's directly impacting them.
Of course.
How ironic is it that someone leaves their country in search of the American dream to give their kids a better life, only for their kids to grow up and have the job that they want being sent back to the country that they came from? Like, that's ridiculous.
No.
And it's
So perfect, though, in a way. Yes.
yeah, I mean, you can't make that up. And I do see like a lot of there are some, on the other hand, who are legal immigrants, who are children of immigrants, who are saying that's hypocritical of me. You know,
Why?
no one should. Well, because of my grandparents who immigrated here, which is back in 1969. And my response is always like, it's not 1969. We have a very different country. We have a very different set of circumstances. Therefore, it's then rational
So your
to adapt
grandparents
and
did
adjust.
something 56 years ago.
Now I have to do the same thing and believe the same thing they did, which I know damn well they don't, because if they did, they wouldn't have the progressive views that they have, because no grandparents had that progressive views.
Yeah.
But they want to put it on me because they're mad that someone with my identity has the views that I have. And they want to...
Oh, because you're part Indian or something?
Yeah, they think that I owe them my loyalty because of some decision my grandparents made, which is stupid because all I've known is America. All I know is American culture. I love the South. I love Southern culture. I only speak English. I'm a Christian. Why would I care about anything else?
Exactly.
And so you have the legal immigrants and the children of immigrants who are upset at me and who called me racist, all sorts of things. And it's
Racist?
Yeah, racist for saying we don't need more people here. But it's ridiculous. But the reality is that when those people who are calling me racist lose their job, they need to remember that it was the people that they called racist that were actually trying to save their job from being taken by a foreigner.
Yes, exactly.
And so I eventually they may understand that, but it's shocking, really, how we're allowing this to happen.
I have to say this, right? As someone who has been following international politics very closely, as someone who is in love with international politics and have seen the whole Western policies towards other nations, it's really, really shameful to see people or some Americans sit here and say that the whole reason why America keeps on invading other countries is to liberate them. It's shameful. It's really, really shameful. That the whole reason why they are in South America taking out governments, or in the Middle East destabilizing nations, or maybe in Libya, was somehow to liberate the Libyans from their dictator, Colonel Mohammed Gaddafi. It's shameful to see them say this, right? Because, it's none of those things. America, the government, has never had issue working with dictators. They've never had issue working with them. It doesn't matter who the leader is, a communist, a dictator, an authoritarian, a butcher, a murderer, whatever you think they are, America will work with them. If it serves America's interest, they will work with them. They have never had issue working with any leader because that leader was a bad person. They don't even care who the leader is. They don't care how that leader treats his or her people. They don't care. That's not even their business. They really don't care. All they care is what America stand to gain from the whole transaction. So there's I was in Nikki Haley's song saying all these things here. I don't know if he understood the reason why America invaded Afghanistan. It wasn't for the common people in Afghanistan. It wasn't for them. And I see Americans also saying that foreign wars haven't really benefited the country. Yeah, I mean, the common people in America have not benefited from all those foreign wars, but their leaders have benefited enormously. How do you think that some of your billionaires are making their billions? Your country runs on the military industrial complex. They are very huge in your country. So, how do you think they get customers? They have to manage their businesses, they have to sell their produce. We might not like it, I don't like it one bit. You too might not like it one bit, but it's the truth. They have to create chaos by any means necessary. Their produce must be put to use. If they don't have customers to buy those products, then they cannot really run their companies, can they? They cannot. That is why America is busy staging wars all over the place. That is why America is busy taking out governments all over the place. Now they are in Venezuela. And believe me, one way or another, Nicolas Maduro will go. He will go one way or another. They will take him out. And then when they take him out and Venezuela becomes a failed state like Haiti, they will turn around and blame the people. When they take out a leader and that country becomes ungovernable like Libya, they turn around and blame the people. Oh, look at these people, so uncivilized. Look at the Venezuelans breaching our borders, coming to our country, taking our jobs away from us. But your leaders, your elites, were the ones who set all this chaos in motion. They were the ones who took out governments that were keeping the peace in their own countries. You went in and you destabilized the nation. Now, let me take a step back and say this. Those governments are not perfect. I have said this like a lot on this platform. Muammar Gaddafi is not perfect. Most African governments are not perfect. They are corrupt. They are authoritarian. They are, most of the leaders are dictators. There are so many things wrong with the way they govern their countries and their people. That is true. But to think that America's involvement or America's interest in your country is for your own good is making a big mistake. To think that America coming in to overthrow your government and put in place appropriate government is because America wants to help you succeed in life is making a huge mistake. The reason why they are interested in your country is not what you think it is. They don't love you, I mean the politicians. Their foreign policy towards your country is not out of love or respect. No, it's not. It's not. It's none of those things. It's all out of self-interest. The Americans have found something in your country that is of great importance to them, and they want to steal it. And they want to set in confusion so that when you guys are busy fighting each other, they will be looting and stealing your resources. You think their interest in Venezuela is because of the Venezuelans? You think their interest in Venezuela is because Nicolas Maduro is a bad person who has been torturing his own people, who has tormented his own people? You think that is the reason why America is so interested in Venezuela? Do you really think so? No, no, that is not the reason, and that has never been the reason. If their reason in other countries were about the people, they would not have taken out leaders who were doing great things for their people. The reasons or the reason why they are eyeing Venezuela and having a lot of issues with Maduro is because of the oil. They want Venezuela to become a failed state like Haiti, so that when the Venezuelan generals and militia groups are fighting each other, America will be busy in drilling the oil. It's all about the oil. It's all about the minerals. It has always been about the minerals. That was the reason they took out Patrice Lumumba in Congo. That was the reason they took out Thomas Sankara in Burkina Faso. That was the reason they took out Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana. That is the reason they took out Mohammed Gaddafi of Libya. It has always been about the resources. And I wish many people could realize this, especially us in Africa. A few days or maybe a week ago, Donald Trump said that he was going to go to Nigeria to resolve the issue of Muslims killing Christians. And I saw many Africans very happy, especially the so-called Christians, that finally Donald Trump will say something about the issue. And my thoughts were, how naive can you guys be? Like, how naive can you guys really be to think that Donald Trump was concerned about the Christians in Nigeria? How naive can you guys really be? He doesn't care. He has never cared. He doesn't even care about the Americans in America. He doesn't even care about his own people. Why would he care about Christians being killed by Muslims in Nigeria? Why? He doesn't care. All what he said wasn't about the Christian-Muslim situation. It was about the oil in Nigeria. It was about Nigeria making deals to sell oil to China. It was all about the deals being struck back and forth. Africans have got to wake up. We have been sleeping for far too long. And you guys might say to yourself, well, what can we do? We have no influence. We have no power. We have nothing. What can we really do to change our own situations? Which I will say this to you. Just knowing that something is wrong is the first step in solving any problem. Just acknowledging that there is a problem is the beginning of solving that problem. Just knowing that America doesn't really care about you per se. Their interest in your country has never been about you, the people, but rather your resources, will give you a different perspective of America and their whole foreign policy in Africa. And the way you will react with them will be quite different. Knowing things give you a head start, give you an advantage. When you know things, you make decisions in a whole different way.